forward, appreciate your help with funds, and it's important. This is the important election. We're in free fall of the country, and we need help. There's no way we can sustain borrowing $4 billion a day. It's impossible. We are in trouble. We're in big trouble. Even Hillary Clinton 2 weeks ago said, the borrowing, if it continues, will be a threat to national security. That's not us, that's them saying that. And even the Congressional Budget Office has said it is unsustainable. You can combine all the economies in the world and not sustain the borrowing that we're doing right now. And overspending. So, we got to turn off the faucet. That's the one thing. Secondly, I've heard there's $1.8 trillion, not in securities, but in the bank, that businesses have. Small, medium, large businesses have. And it's there earning about 0.4% of it, like mine. And, the problem is this. They are not going to spend it. And the one reason they're not spending is because of fear. They're just afraid. What tsunami from the federal government's going to happen next? We got health care. That was one tsunami. I had some people from Taco Bell tell me the other day, they have a couple of small Taco Bells. And they said, we in this bill, we're going to be out of business. Because they've made our part-time employees, which we have a lot of people at noon come in, and we have a lot of people near dinner time come in. But those people aren't full-time employees, they're part-time employees. And they're going to make them full-time employees and give them full benefits, even though they only work maybe a small number of hours. And you know what? Their margin is $18,000. And the cost of this is $25,000. They're going to be out of business. So there's this fear, and it's not just that; it's what's being proposed. What's next? I mean, is it going to be cap and trade, or the card check bill, or something else that's going to come along? It's going to be another regulation. So businesses have this fear of what's going to be tomorrow, and so are they spending that $1.8 trillion? No. Are they hiring a new person, expanding their businesses? No, they're not. And it's sad. And then lastly, though, I guess I could sum it up with the fact they just won't be able to read the bills.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
When I was in Tallahassee, I spent 18 years in the House, 16 of those in the minority. And I watched a power-based system. It started session, moved through what I would call non-controversial issues first, instead of taking up the most important issues first. Like one year, the first bill we took up was the naming of the state pie. It's important. On the other hand, there would be this planned exponential train wreck at the end of session. And they push against a deadline. Now you start thinking about Congress and see if this didn't happen before, and maybe happen later. They push against the deadline. For Congress, it was Christmas or other times. For us, it was the end of session. So at the end of session, all these bills start rolling out. They're not the most important, not the longest. Now, we didn't have 2,000-page bills, but we had hundreds of pages of bills in our bills. And in the end, last day, every year, last day. You start early, you work till noon. In the back, they fed you pizza. Work till 6 o'clock. Then they fed you back again. Barbecue or meatloaf. Every year. Then you work till midnight. Now you think what you think, how you feel. If you'd eaten barbecue, meatloaf, pizza, you work 18 hours, you just want to vote.
Yeah.
So after midnight, last day of session, it all rolls out. 1 year, passed the budget, rewrote the welfare laws, created a new Department of Health, dismantled the Department of Commerce. All in 40 minutes.
Wow.
No debate, no discussion, no amendments, no nothing. Just do it. You know what? That is what they call a power-based system. A few people at the top could have been in the House of in our House, Florida House, Speaker, and some other people, or at the federal level. It could be Nancy Pelosi and the Majority Leader and a few others. And they didn't tell us Nancy Pelosi was bold enough to say it. vote, and then we'll let you know what's in there. So we would leave every session, just to show you that this happens in every place where they want to have a power-based system. Every place. It doesn't matter if it's the Wyoming legislature or the Florida legislature or the United States Congress. In every place, it's the same exact thing. So, we would go home. 6 weeks later, 6 months later, we'd find out what we voted on. 1 year, they stuck in there scholarships for prisoners, which wouldn't have passed in the light of day. Fees, tax increases, all kinds of things were stuck in there. We'd go home and we'd read about it in the paper. Not me. I had this little rock. Kathy remembers my rock. It said, when in doubt, vote no. It worked. I mean, it saved me from a lot of bad votes. And, you know, the point is this. Washington is broken. And that process is broken. And it needs to be repaired. When I became Speaker of the House, what we did is push down the pyramid of power, spread out the base, let every member be a part, let every member debate, let there be discussion on every issue, and not have any meetings after 6 o'clock. Everything was done in the daylight, so everybody could see, and all the public could see. And everybody that made a vote. It was the right vote, at least the one they thought was right, because they had a chance to read everything, know everything. So the last day came. There were thousands of people showed up at the Capitol because they didn't believe that the legislature could ever adjourn on time with the Senate at the same time at 6 o'clock. Nobody believed that. So they all gathered in the House gallery and outside, down in the Senate gallery and Rotunda, and Tony Jennings was presiding officer. And so so the back doors of the House opened, the back doors of the Senate opened, and I could see Tony at the other end. We raised our gavels at 5:59, and at 6 o'clock, together, they went down, boom. And you know what? As it went down, I think the clerk actually arranged this, but as it went down, the number flipped to 6 o'clock. And then it so caught the members by surprise that they just leaped to their feet and cheered, and people cheered out there, cheered in the Rotunda, cheered down in the Senate.
Sendai.
Yes. But you know what? They weren't cheering for me, they weren't cheering for Tony. They were cheering because a system that was based on power was replaced by something based on principle. That was what they were cheering. And it could work, and it could happen. And you know what? I think it can happen in Washington. And that's what I want to do. Because in the end, America's not broken. Washington is. So thank you for helping me, because I want to get there. I don't want to make it different.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for coming.